Hello and welcome back to another Football Commentaries live stream. We are now well over the halfway point in the Premier League season and things are starting to shape up with places for Europe and survival in the league at stake today. Brentford are the team chasing the European dream. With 3 points today, it would take them right up into the Champions League spots and would take them fourth on goal difference. Under former set-piece coach Keith Andrews, the Bees have collected 33 points from a possible 66 so far this campaign. Have only lost once here all season at home, and that was to Manchester City back in early October. They were 7 unbeaten before their loss last weekend to Liam Rosenior's Chelsea. For Forest, it has been a disastrous season so far as they are on their third manager and sit a place outside the bottom three. Nuno lasted 3 games this season and Ange only stayed for 39 days until Dyche was brought in, and from his first 20 games so far in charge, Forest have won 8 but lost 9. It was a dismal display away at Braga in the Europa League on Thursday as the players and staff were booed off by the travelling supporters. It is now just 1 win from 8 for the Reds, who are now 2 points ahead of West Ham, who are in 18th. The reverse fixture saw a Forest win under Nuno Espirito Santo at the City Ground. On the opening weekend of the season, it was a double from Chris Wood and a debut goal from Ndoye, which gave Forest a 3-goal lead at half-time, and then a consolation from the penalty spot from Igor Thiago had the scoreline finish at 3-1. But this time around, with the two clubs in totally different positions in terms of stability and league position, can the Bees sting the Reds and take another 3 points at home? It has become a fortress, the G-Tech Community Stadium, for Brentford so far this season. They have played 11 games at home and they have won 7, winning 5 of the last 7. And as mentioned before, only losing once, and that was back on the 5th of October. It was only a 1-0 defeat to Manchester City. So it is a really difficult place for teams to come to in the Premier League, and it won't be any different for Nottingham Forest this afternoon, who are struggling on the road themselves. They've only scored 9 away Premier League goals so far this season, Nottingham Forest, from their 11 games so far. Their last away game was a victory, though, in that very dramatic game against West Ham United a couple of weeks ago now. And all of their 3 away games that they have won so far this season in the league have come in their last 6, against West Ham last time around and also to Wolves, and that 3-0 thumping of Liverpool as well. But it is just complete carnage at Forest at the moment, especially throughout this season. Nuno leaving after 3 games, winning 1, drawing 1, losing 1, then Ange coming in lasting 39 days, managing 8 games, not winning a single one of them, and they were trying to look for a bit of stability under Sean Dyche, but it does seem like the Nottingham Forest fans are just starting to slightly turn on Sean Dyche, who did come through the Nottingham Forest Academy for 3 years, so does have a link and an affinity to the club. But from what I'm reading and what I'm seeing online from Nottingham Forest supporters, it just seems like it's a very difficult team to watch. The football isn't the prettiest, and when the results don't come with that, then it can lead to issues. But if they try and move on Sean Dyche, that'll be their 4th manager of the season, so it just seems like a bit of a sticky moment. Do they stick? Do they twist? They're sticking for now. He does have a contract until the end of next season, Sean Dyche, and he is looking for win number 99 in his Premier League career. He's took charge of 346 games in this division, Sean Dyche, winning 98, drawing 93 and losing 155. He actually didn't win any of his first 10 Premier League games as a manager when he first got to this division with Burnley back in 2014. But he's now at Nottingham Forest and he's got a big job to do. If they had to win today, they do go 5 points clear of the relegation zone, and it would also put them, I believe, on the same points as Leeds United, who are just a place above them in 16th. But Leeds United would have a game in hand as they play tomorrow night against Everton. But all they've got to do is win their games and not rely and look at other teams' results. Nottingham Forest, who have been in this position before, of course, they had a brilliant campaign last season, finishing 7th in the league, which eventually got them into the Europa League after the whole situation with Crystal Palace, with them winning the FA Cup but being knocked down to the Conference League. But before that, they'd finished 17th and 16th in their first 2 seasons back in the Premier League. So they are no stranger to a relegation fight, but after last season they would have wanted to have kicked on, and they did in terms of signings. They brought in loads of new signings for a lot of money, but they've not quite gelled in and kind of got their own spot in the starting 11. The only starter who is a new signing from the summer is Igor Jesus, who was injured for the game against Braga in the Europa League, but he's returned for this game. He's only got 1 league goal though so far this season, Igor Jesus, and that was in their 1-0 away win to Wolves back at the start of December. But plenty of their new signings are on the bench, the likes of James McAtee, Amari Hutchinson, Dan Ndoye, Dylan Bakwa as well. So plenty of attacking talent on the bench, but they've just not quite clicked in this Nottingham Forest team so far, as we've got 2 captains there leading the 2 teams out of Nathan Collins and Morgan Gibbs-White. Just a quick handshake with the referee, Sam Barrett, the Yorkshire-born referee, who's give out the 1 red card so far this season in the Premier League, the referee, and that was for Ronaldo against Aston Villa in their 1-1 draw. Sunderland and Villa at the Stadium of Light back in the middle of September. It's the only red card he's given out so far. He won't be wanting to give out any more today, as we will go through both sets of starting 11s now. We'll go with the home team first, who are unchanged from their defeat last weekend to Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. It will remain as Caoimhín Kelleher in goal, who's played every minute so far in the Premier League this season. It's a back 4. Right back is Michael Kayode, who's featured in every game so far this season in all competitions. At the left-hand side, at the left back, it will be Rico Henry, who's making his 100th Premier League appearance this afternoon. And 2 centre-backs who started the last 6 games alongside each other now in the league, and that's Christopher Adja and Nathan Collins. 2 holding midfielders of Yeo Yarmouk, who's featured in every Premier League game so far this season. Alongside him will be Vitaly Yarnelt, who's looking for his 10th career Premier League goal. 3 behind the striker on the right-hand side will be Matthias Jensen, who's got the 2 goals so far this season. They both came off the bench, but he has started 7 of the last 8 games now in the Premier League. On the left-hand side will be Kevin Schade, who's aiming to score his 20th league goal of his career in the Premier League. He's already scored a hat-trick this season, and that was at the end of December against Bournemouth. All 6 of his league goals have come here at the G-Tech Community Stadium. And in behind the striker in the number 10 position will be Mikkel Damsgaard. Just the 1 league goal for him this season. That was in September in their away defeat to Fulham. And he's not quite matching his numbers yet of last season in terms of assists. He registered 10 assists last campaign. And through the middle, leading the line, it's another Igor. It's another Brazilian up front. But this time it's Brentford's Igor Thiago, signed for £30 million in the season before from Club Brugge. And he's on 16 Premier League goals so far. 1 hat-trick away to Everton at the start of January. He's also scored 4 braces in the league against Sunderland, Burnley, Newcastle and Manchester United. He has got 5 in his last 9 in the league. And that is Brentford starting 11 for Forest. They make 7 changes from the midweek lineup against Braga. Mats Sells remains in goal. It's a back 4 of Ola Aina, Nikola Milenkovic, Murillo and Nico Williams. 2 old midfielders sent off in the week against Braga was Elliot Anderson for descent, and alongside him is Ibrahim Sangare, who returns after the Africa Cup of Nations, where Ivory Coast were knocked out in the quarter-final stage to Egypt. And then 3 behind the striker, just like Brentford on the right, will be Nicolas Dominguez, who's got the 1 league goal so far this season. That was in the last away game they played, which was their win at West Ham. On the left-hand side is Callum Hudson-Odoi, who's making appearance number 99 this afternoon for Nottingham Forest. He joined back in September 23 from Chelsea for £5 million. In behind the striker will be Morgan Gibbs-White, who is looking for his 25th Nottingham Forest goal. He turns 26 on Tuesday, and leading the line up front. Back in the starting 11 after missing the game against Braga on Thursday, it is Igor Jesus, who was signed from Botafogo in the summer for £10 million, potentially rising all the way up to £16.5 million. Just the 1 league goal, but he does have 8 in all competitions after 4 goals in 5 Europa League appearances, 1 in the FA Cup, and also 2 in the League Cup as well. as we're about to get underway here at the G-Tech Community Stadium. The Bees takes on the Reds in a game of huge importance for both. If Brentford can win, they could go all the way up to 4th on goal difference. For Nottingham Forest, if they're to win, it would steer them 5 points clear of the relegation places after a very important win from West Ham yesterday in the lunchtime kickoff when they beat Sunderland 3-1. They're having a storming season so far, the Black Cats, but West Ham turned up at home and they needed to because they need points on the board, just like Nottingham Forest, who are trying to avoid a potential relegation fight this season. There is Keith Andrews. This fixture was his first game in charge at the start of this season when Nottingham Forest won 3-1. In terms of stats, it was a rather even game, but Nottingham Forest under Nuno Espirito Santo were more clinical that day, but it's completely flipped on its head. The states of these two clubs, Brentford and now the team with the confidence and the upwards trajectory. For Nottingham Forest, they've gone completely downhill. It's Brentford to kick us off, kicking right to left. Nottingham Forest left to right. It's a flick up and a volley up the pitch from Damsgaard to get us underway. And they try and build out from the right. It's an overhit pass from Vitaly Yarnelt. Michael Coyote couldn't get on the end of it. It's a Nottingham Forest throw-in on the far side. And we are underway here at the G-Tech Community Stadium. Sean Dyche with the 6 wins from 8 against Brentford in his managerial career. 2 of the 6 wins have been away from home in September 2023 and also one in January 2016 as Burnley won the Championship that season. It's Nathan Collins bringing out from the back for Brentford, midway side his own half. He's not got loads of options ahead of him, so just stops on the ball. There's no press on him at the moment. Plays it to his left to Rico Henry, making his 100th Premier League appearance this afternoon. It's his most faced opposition, Rico Henry. Nottingham Forest, it's the 11th time he's facing them as Collins' long ball goes straight into the Nottingham Forest 18-yard box and it's into the gloves of Matt Sells. He goes to Murillo, long ball, no one up there to chase it, and it's straight back to Kelleher. Bit of long ball between the two teams to start us off, and it's Brentford who are on the ball. 7 unbeaten before that game against Chelsea last Saturday. They were beaten by 2-0, a goal from João Pedro in the first half and a penalty from Cole Palmer in the second half as Schade tries to get around Aina, sends him to the deck and continues his run. Schade in the box, gets it across to Thiago and the touch just goes wide. First big chance of the game, just over a minute and a half in, and it falls to Brentford. Too strong and too quick. Kevin Schade for Ola Aina, and as he entered the box on the left hand side he went for an early ball into the 6-yard area, and Igor Thiago battling with Murillo, 2 Brazilians going at it, and he got the foot to the ball but diverted it just wide of that far post, and it is a goal kick, but it's a very positive start from Brentford as Nottingham Forest play out from the back on the far side. It's Anderson into Dominguez, being surrounded by Brentford shirts, and he loses out, and Matthias Jensen has it on the right wing position for Brentford, clips it inside for Schade, takes the chested touch into the area. It's cleared by Milenkovic and up towards Jesus, who loses out on Adja. And it will be Nathan Collins on the ball, but the referee just blows for a stoppage it as there's a Nottingham Forest player down holding his face. And I think it is Nicolas Dominguez, the number 16, who has scored in this fixture previously. It was in a 1-1 draw 2 seasons ago. Not scored many for Nottingham Forest. Nicolas Dominguez, only 4 in his previous 86 games for them. And it's requiring some treatment, the former Argentinian international. His last appearance for Argentina was in November 2021. Just a slight knock into the face off Matthias Jensen. Nothing cynical. I'm sure he'll be fine to continue. So over 3 minutes in, it's Brentford with the early chance in the game. Igor Thiago looking to score his 17th of the season in the Premier League. He is now the most successful Brazilian goal scorer in the Premier League within 1 season. No one's ever scored more than him from Brazil in a single campaign. Yet to be capped for Brazil. I'm sure Carlo Ancelotti, the Brazil manager, will be keeping an eye out. And in fairness, it was just a rather unfortunate first season for Igor Thiago. When he first came to Brentford, he only made 8 appearances, and they were all in the Premier League. Didn't score, and only started once in a home game against Newcastle on the 7th of December, because he was injured from August to November, then returned for a little while, and then was injured from December to May. It's never got quite going, but as we can clearly see here, a fit and firing Igor Thiago can be one of the better strikers in this division. But for Brentford, they've got a couple of difficult away games coming up. 8 of their 9 league defeats have been on the road. They've got Aston Villa next, and then after that is Newcastle. Not easy, but then they've got to host Arsenal as well. So it's a challenging time coming up for Keith Andrews' side. As we're back underway, it's on the Brentford left with Yarnelt into Rico Henry in the final third. Keeping the ball moving, going back into Yarnelt once more. It's now Mikkel Damsgaard, the most creative player on the pitch for Brentford. His pass is cut out by Sangare. His ball short to Rico Henry, whose heavy touch gives it away to Elliot Anderson, who runs into traffic. Yarnelt lays it off to his right to Jensen. Thought about the shot, but goes into the overlapping run of Coyote from right back. Keeps it in towards the byline, goes back into Jensen. First time delivery goes into the far post. Glanced away by Einar. All as far as Damsgaard. Tries to get the ball across. Flicks off Einar and into the gloves of Sells, who wants to try and kick the ball quickly. Fires it towards the left. Comes off the chest of Jensen. Kept alive by Dominguez. And it's now with Nico Williams at left back for Nottingham Forest. Just over 5 minutes in. We are still goalless between Brentford and Nottingham Forest. The 2 Premier League draws between these two sides in the history of the fixture have both come at the City Ground. We'll keep an eye out on the other 2 Premier League games as well. Crystal Palace hosting Chelsea and Newcastle taking on Aston Villa. As on this near side, it's Dominguez. Down the line for Hudson-Odoi. About 10 yards inside the Brentford half. Quick 1-2 with Einar. And the same with Sangare. Murillo at left centre-back on the halfway line, forward in between the lines for Gibbs-White. Turns brilliantly and lays it in onto the space for Einar. First time cross goes in and off Henry, and that'll be a corner kick for Nottingham Forest, the first of the game, won by the Nigerian fullback. Did miss the Africa Cup of Nations, Ola Einar, after only just returning recently from a hamstring injury, which has kept him out for the first 3 to 4 months of the season. Elliot Anderson goes short to Hudson-Odoi on this near side, and then across once more to his left to Einar, who then puts the cross into the area, drops in the area. Will it fall for Forest to have a shot? No, it won't. Hooked away in the end by Damsgaard. Igor Thiago will chase it. Loses out, and it's with Nottingham Forest with Gibbs-White. Tight space, but he works himself away from 1 and 2 Brentford defenders, and he pulls it across. And Igor Jesus' strike is deflected wide for another corner. Showing his individual skill there. Morgan Gibbs-White taking about 3 Brentford players out of the game. It's going to be Elliot Anderson, I think, to put this directly into the box. Outswinger to the near post. It drops once more. Dominguez battling for it. Eventually cleared away by Yarmoluk. Headed down by Einar, back out to the right-hand side. Elliot Anderson, is he caught by Yarnelt? Yes, he is. Free kick for Nottingham Forest, won by Elliot Anderson. Picked up his first red card for Nottingham Forest in that away defeat to Braga on Thursday. Looked like it was for dissent towards the referee. Only lost once in his career against Brentford, Elliot Anderson, and that was in the defeat against them last season at home. It was a 2-0 win for Brentford in game week 34 on the 1st of May. 2 goals, one from Sharda before half-time and then the other from Wissa in the 70th minute. It's going to be a right-footed delivery from the right-hand side by Elliot Anderson. He's got his left arm raised. Referee just having a word there with Coyote and Sangare and Thiago as well, who's in there. It's a one-man war. Anderson delivers, headed away by Henry, headed back in there by Dominguez, and it floats all the way over the crossbar and in for a goal kick for the Bees, which will be taken by Queevy Kelleher, who has the 1 clean sheet in his career against Nottingham Forest, and that was an away win back in March 2024 whilst at Liverpool. As Kelleher has the ball at his feet. Plays it to his left to his international teammate and captain Nathan Collins. Left back Henry on this near side. Playing it forward towards Igor Thiago. Good touch and lays it off for Sharda, who drives inside. Sharda with time on the ball. Can he release it? He can't. He's tackled by Milenkovic. The loose ball deflects away to Yarmulke. So Brentford can continue attacking in the Nottingham Forest half. It's less than 10 minutes in. It's still goalless. But a chance a minute and a half in from Igor Thiago is the closest we've come to a goal. Adja. Back to Kelleher on the edge of the area. Being closed down by Jesus. Quickly shifts it to his left to Collins. Yarnelt in a left-back position. Going back into Collins. First time clearance up the pitch on the halfway line. It's a free touch for Sharda. Plenty of time on the ball and turns away from Sangare. Yarmulke out to the far side to Michael Coyote, the Italian. Joined permanently in the summer from Fiorentina after a 6-month loan spell last season. Just 21 years of age, making his 40th appearance for Brentford. Yarnelt on the halfway line, time on the ball as he works it out to Damsgaard in the left wing position, onto his right foot and crossing into the area, headed on by Milenkovic, headed on once more by Anderson. Falls to Gibbs White, who lifts it to the left hand side to Nico Williams, who will be able to keep it in. And completes a 1-2 with Anderson. Wants to try and go forward, Williams, but forced to go back to Murillo. The Nottingham Forest number 5, who cannons it back towards Williams, can't get it under control. Throwing for Brentford within the Nottingham Forest half. Michael Coyote does have a long throw if they want to try and put some pressure on this Nottingham Forest defence. Throws it towards the edge of the area where Igor Thiago loses out to Murillo. It's now Sangare. Passes short. Damsgaard will get there. Can he round the keeper? He's been sent away from goal and Einer's there to help his goalkeeper out. And Oliver Einer will play it down the right to Sangare. Helped on for the run of Einer, who continues to drive the ball forward with a pass to Hudson-Odoi. Einer's continued his run. Hudson-Odoi finds him from defence to attack within seconds. Oliver Einer running at Rico Henry. Couple of step overs into the area. Wants to cross it. Trying to deflects up towards Igor Jesus, who can turn and shoot. And what a goal that is. Back into the starting 11 after missing the game in midweek. And gives Nottingham Forest a huge lead at the G-Tech Community Stadium. From back to front. So quickly. And that's a classy finish from Igor Jesus, who scores just his second league goal of the season. It's his first since the 3rd of December in a 1-0 win away at Wolves. Ola Einer doing so much of the work down the right flank. Took his time to cross it, and once it came off his boot, it did deflect up off Henry, but the chested touch and the volley from Jesus is absolutely sublime. Chested it away to find some space as Collins was trying to stay tight. But it just set him up for the perfect angle to shoot. Kelleher got a hand to it. Just too much power on it. And it is the away side who lead. It's Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 1. Exactly what Sean Dyche's team needed. As they have won just 3 of their last 10 in all competitions, a run starting from the 11th of December. They have lost 6 of those 10, including a shock defeat away to Wrexham in the FA Cup on penalties. It gives White to Jesus, then back out wide right to Hudson-Odoi. They want a second here. Hudson-Odoi, first time cross goes in. It's too much on it for Jesus, but it will be kept alive on the far side from Williams, who's going to run at Coyote. Goes back into Anderson. Williams again in the final third, finding space to cross it. It's a good ball in. It's headed away by Henry to Sharda, who tries to flick it over Einer, and he does, and he gets there first, but it's Sangare to come across and nip it and take the ball off the German. And they're just slowing the game down here, Nottingham Forest. About 10 yards inside the Brentford half. They go back to the halfway line to Sangare. Milenkovic, to centre-back partner of Murillo, who's only ever featured for Brazil once, and that was in a 4-1 defeat to Argentina back in March. He's not been called up since. Aina at right back. Everyone behind the ball for Brentford. As we're 14 minutes in, and it's Sean Dyche's team with the lead. Anderson into Gibbs White, tries to flick towards Hudson-Odoi, just slightly too much on it. A good idea, just not executed well enough. And it's a throw-in for Brentford. The goal came from a chance for the Bees. It was Damsgaard who was almost in on goal, but Sells just about recovered, and so did Aina. And they flipped it forward, and Igor Jesus finished the move off brilliantly. It's his 9th goal in all competitions. And it's all good. Taking the lead. They need to try and find a way of keeping it if they can and adding to it. Hudson-Odoi dragged back by Sharda. Free kick for Nottingham Forest. Just the one win in the last 6 for them in the Premier League. That win was at West Ham on the 6th of January. And it's their 10th goal that they've scored away from home in the Premier League this season. As they are towards the edge of their own box here, it's Matt Sells to kick it first time. Big kick forward towards Jesus, who will battle with Collins. He wins the head of the Brazilian. It drops out wide for Hudson-Odoi. Jesus, then in behind for Gibbs White. They're in again, in the box. The angle's tight, so he puts it across. But it's held in the 6-yard area by Kelleher. And they're just a little bit all over the place at the moment, Brentford. Who have only failed to score in 6 of their 22 league games so far this season. And they'll need to score more than 1 if they want 3 points from this one. Kelleher, just outside the 18-yard box. No one closing him down at the moment. He plays it to his left to Collins, who's not just the Brentford captain, but also captains Ireland as well. Recently made his 100th appearance for Brentford as well, on the New Year's Day fixture at home to Spurs, which ended in a 0-0 draw. Yarnelt taking up a left-back position. 1-2 with Damsgaard, then into the middle for Igor. Thiago flicks it onto Sharda, then in behind for Jensen, who can't quite beat Williams to it. Good defending from the Welshman. As he kicks it off Jensen, that'll be a goal kick for Forest. Both teams showing their ability to play through each other with quick passing movement. Nice flick there from Igor Thiago to find Sharda. The pass could have been slightly better from Kevin Sharda to find Matthias Jensen. It's his 11th time facing Forest today. Jensen never scored against them. Has assisted 4 times though against them, but not since a 3-2 win here at home in January 24. Anderson on the halfway line, lifting it out wide left to Gibbs White, can't take it under control, and that'll be a throw-in for Brentford in a right back position. Slightly frustrated with himself there, Gibbs White, who has scored 2 of the last 3 in the league against West Ham and Villa in the last 2 away games. He hadn't scored in any of the previous 7 before that. He's only missed 1 game so far this season, Gibbs White, and that was against Malmo in the Europa League. Every other game he's been on the pitch at some point, if that's starting or off the bench. Yarmluk loses out to Jesus. Anderson clipping out to the right wing to Hudson-Odoi, brings it down brilliantly. Now going to run at Rico Henry. He has got Aina overlapping, cuts inside himself, and then lays it off to Anderson, who strikes first time, deflects, kept alive for Forest. With Williams to the left wing position to Dominguez, forward to Anderson, turns one way, then the other, then crosses left-footed deep. Header won by Henry, as far as Hudson-Odoi, who miskicks the ball. Header up in the air by Damsgaard, brought down by Williams, flicked out wide left by Gibbs White, controlled by Elliot Anderson. Tries to go forward with the 1-2 to Gibbs White, and it comes off. It's good football from Forest. Sangare thought about the shot, opted against it in the end, plays it forward to Jesus, then gets the return pass. Sangare with the shot. Tried to place it into the bottom right corner, just wide, but it's been a great reaction from Nottingham Forest, as Brentford certainly started the better team in the opening 5 minutes, but since then, it's been Nottingham Forest who have found their groove and are looking to try and double their lead as quickly as possible. Ibrahim Sangare looking for just his third ever Nottingham Forest goal. His 2 goals he scored for the club have come this season, both in home games to Spurs and Leeds. It was his first game back for Nottingham Forest in their 0-0 draw last weekend to Arsenal. For Sangare, as mentioned before, was away with Ivory Coast at the Africa Cup of Nations. It's a wayward ball that from Collins out of play, throwing for Forest on the near side within their own half. Didn't conjure a shot on target in their last Premier League game against Arsenal. Nottingham Forest, 4 shots, 0 on target, 40% of the possession as well. Aina, what a switch that is with the left peg. Straight to Nico Williams in the Brentford half. He's got Dominguez ahead of him. Williams will keep driving with it into the box. Tries to cross left-footed, comes off Coyote. Corner on the far side this time for Nottingham Forest. What a pass that was by Ola Aina, making his 98th appearance in the Premier League this afternoon. And from one full back to the other, they've been able to get the ball forward to earn a corner. Just over 20 minutes in, still Brentford 0, Forest 1. And there is a goal between Newcastle and Villa. It's Villa to go 1-0 up. Buendia with the goal. Anderson goes short. Hudson-Odoi laid back off to Anderson. First time cross goes in. Cleared away and headed on by Damsgaard towards Igor Thiago. Can't quite beat Elliot Anderson to it. Sends it all the way back to Mats Sells, who will thump the ball clear out wide left. It's brought down with a pass from Dominguez to Nico Williams. Anderson in their own half at the minute, Forest. Murillo, the centre half, going across to Milenkovic, who did win Serbia's Player of the Year for 2025. 70 appearances for his country, 2 red cards, one of them against England in September last year in their home defeat against Thomas Tuchel's side. Brentford are the team on the ball on the halfway line with Christopher Adja. Henry. Back into Vitaly Garnelt. Across to Collins. Jesus was closing down, but he can move it on quick enough. Adja. Bringing it forward from centre-back, then out wide to Damsgaard, replaying it into Adja, who's in the area, towards the byline, crosses off Murillo, drops to Damsgaard, trying to find space for a cross. Can he find it? He can dig one out, but it's curled out and then back into play, and it'll be a goal kick for Nottingham Forest. It's been all Nottingham Forest to start this game off. Sure, Sean Dyche will be absolutely delighted. Big clearance by Milenkovic. It's a free header for Henry at left back. Straight out of play. Throwing just before the halfway line for Nottingham Forest. He'll be taken by Ola Aina, who scored in this fixture last season as Forest travelled here and won 2-0. Aina scored the first goal in the 38th minute, and Alanga scored the second in the 51st minute. Throw in to Anderson, then a clearance down the line, won by Henry, pushing the back on Aina, not given by the referee, which I'm surprised about. It looks like 2 hands in the back. Dyche weren't happy, but Brentford will attack. Switched out to the left flank, brilliant ball, controlled by Yarmoluk, tackled by Anderson, and that'll be a throw-in next to the corner flag for Brentford. And maybe this is where they will use that long throw, and they will. Coyote coming across from the right-hand side to the left to throw this as far as he possibly can. going to take the longest run up he can. The number 33. And in it goes to the near post. It's a huge throw. Sells punches, drops it. Jensen shoots, comes off Gibbs White. Another shot. It's bouncing around everywhere, and eventually there is a free kick given. Let's have a look. The throwing came in. Sells punched it away, not very convincingly. And then there was a kick in the head on Gibbs White. I think that's what the free kick's been given for. Just a high boot towards Gibbs White. Not very convincing goalkeeping from Sells. Yeah, high boot that from Damsgaard. It's a bit of both. Don't get me wrong, the boot is slightly high. But then at the same time, Gibbs White does duck his head down as well, which will obviously make it look slightly worse than it is. So back underway. Hudson-Odoi on that right side again. Being closed down by Henry. Keeps the ball away from the left back. And finds Murillo. It's now with the Forest left back. With Nico Williams. Lays it off for Dominguez. Murillo forward for Williams, who had advanced his run from left back. Turns back. Plays it into Dominguez. Lifted back through for Williams. Tries the back heel straight to Jensen, but his touch is poor. And Williams can pick it back up. Sangare trying to get his team forward. Coyote is going to shield this out. Keeping in play, but then his touch is heavy. Corner kick for Nottingham Forest. Successful pressing there from Ibrahim Sangare, who they brought in for £30 million from PSV 2.5 seasons ago. It's going to be an in-swinger from Elliot Anderson. Almost every player in the box is in the 6-yard area, bar Damsgaard, who's kind of hovering towards the edge of the box for Brentford. In it goes to the near post header, won by Igor Thiago from Brentford. As it's now on the halfway line with Aina. To his left to Hudson-Odoi. Still potential for a chance here for the away side. It's Murillo trying to go in behind. It's a great ball. And then the cross goes in towards Jesus as it was deflected, cleared by Adja. Hudson-Odoi on the left wing. Playing it inside to Gibbs White. He's got Jesus on the angle. Gibbs White avoids that pass and instead tries the cross, and it goes out for another corner for Forest on the far side. No look past that from Murillo to slip it in behind for Anderson for the first cross. It's going to be Elliot Anderson again to take. Deeper this time towards absolutely nobody. Curls straight out for a goal kick. Well, the fact that everyone was kind of hovering towards the near post, it's a slight surprise that Elliot Anderson's overhit that by the amount he has. But he is well and truly a part of the England setup now. Elliot Anderson, 6 caps for him, 5 starts. Made his debut in September of last year against Andorra. It's been a massive rise for him. It was only in 2022 when he was on loan with Bristol Rovers in League 2. Promoted on the last day. You might remember that 7-0 win for Bristol Rovers under certain Joey Barton as manager. And now he's in the Premier League. And it's his team giving the ball away straight to Yarmouk. Coyote on the right flank. Kind of 10 or 15 yards away from the 18-yard box. Goes to his left to Damsgaard. Furthest wide is Yarmouk, who's allowed to take a touch. Thought about the cross, lays it back into Damsgaard, who takes a touch himself and then crosses. It's a free header for Aina, who completely misdirects it, and it goes for a corner for Brentford. He's slightly annoyed with himself there, Ola Aina, because he had more time to head that in a different area, not out for a corner that his team now has to defend. to be a left-footed in-swinger for Brentford as they look to try and equalise in this game. It's going to be Yarnelt to deliver. It's a header won by Jesus to the edge of the area to Jensen, who heads it back out wide to Yarnelt. Into Jensen once more. Cross goes in deep. It's an easy catch for Sells, who will hold on to the ball and then roll it to the left centre-back of Murillo. Forward along the floor, but straight to Jensen. Poor distribution, that from Murillo from the back. Yarmulke on this right-hand side. Yarnelt back into Coyote. Forward to Damsgaard. Coyote running around him. Damsgaard goes on his own for now. Still with the Dane. Playing it back. And the cross goes in. It's a header by Murillo. Towards, reaching Collins at the back for Brentford, who's joined in the attack. Finding Henry. Right-footed ball inside to Damsgaard. Back out wide to Henry. Yarnelt is offering support. And he has the ball now. Yarnelt inside to Jensen, then back out wide to Damsgaard. Good football from Brentford. Cross goes in towards Sharda. Header won by Murillo. Second one by Anderson. Controlled by Damsgaard. Flicked away from Sangare. It's now Rico Henry. Forward for Igor Thiago, who just loses out to Aina, who almost overruns it. Cleared in the end by Milenkovic. Headed up by Collins, but not really away. Straight to Igor Jesus, who's knocked in the back by Yarmulke. Well, nothing given by the referee. Yarmulke on the halfway line on this far side. Ukrainian holding midfielder. He's making his 7th start in a row in the league for Brentford. Scored his first ever Brentford goal in their last home game. Yeo Yarmulke. 3-0 win against Sunderland. Yarnelt trying to go for a low ball to the edge of the area to Henry. Cut out and played forward to Gibbs-White. Tries to go back into Sangare. They're a little bit pinned at the moment now. The momentum switched in the game. Damsgaard brought down. Free kick on the left-hand side for the Bees. Dominguez with the guilty party within that play. Just the 7 Premier League meetings between these two teams in the history of the fixture. The first ever time they met was a 1-0 Forest win. Back in February 1909, 116 years ago, in an FA Cup second round fixture. Looks like it's going to be a left-footed delivery by Yarnelt. Jensen is also stood over it as a right-footed option. He runs over it and Yarnelt does deliver it into the box. Milenkovic with the header away to the edge of the box. Helped on by Gibbs-White to the left to Jesus, who holds it for now on the far side of the pitch. Midway side his own half. He plays it forward to Williams. Back into Anderson. Murillo, first time clearance away, thumps it up the pitch high towards Jesus. Battling with Adja. And it's the centre-back who comes out with the ball for his team. And Adja's stayed down. There was a bit of contact as he won the ball back for his team. Damsgaard also down as well. For Brentford, looks like he's got a bit of a knee issue. So, 2 players down in quick succession for Brentford. Mikkel Damsgaard, the Danish international, and Christopher Adja, the Norwegian international. And for Norway, Christopher Adja has won 9 games in a row for his country in terms of the games he's played in. Bit of problem on the right knee for Mikkel Damsgaard, who is a key player for Brentford. It'll be a big miss if he has to come off. Let's have a look. As he was fouled by Dominguez. I think it was more the landing more than anything. And Jesus was trying to kick the ball and it looks like he may have just nicked Adja in that last battle. We've had goals in every game now in the Premier League and they've all come from the away team. Chelsea lead at Palace. It is really crumbling apart at Selhurst Park. Gay leaving. Mateta announcing he wants to leave. Glasner looking like he's trying to talk his way out of his job. And it's Estevao with the goal for Liam Rosenior's side. He's not had a bad start to his life at Chelsea, Liam Rosenior, in terms of results. I know the performance against Paphos was a little touch and go in the week. Just a 1-0 win in the Champions League for them. But they beat Brentford last weekend, who were very much in form at the moment. Put up a half-decent fight against Arsenal in the League Cup. And then, of course, battered Charlton in the FA Cup. But that is a result that you would expect from any Chelsea side, no matter who the manager is. So Damsgaard's back to his feet. He's walking off. I say walking, he's slightly hobbling, and so is Adja as well. So it does look like the Norwegian defender won't be able to continue. Because Sepp van den Berg is stripped and ready to come on. Yeah, Adja's not continuing. Certainly not. The physio with him at the moment is holding around his hip, and he's got a hold of his shoulder, slowly limping off. And that's a huge shame for Christopher Adja. This was his 6th start in a row in the Premier League, and all at centre-back, because he has been used more as a full-back in the start of the season. But he kind of made that centre-back position his own, replacing Sepp van den Berg, who'd played a lot of the start of the season alongside Nathan Collins. Yeah, it was a weird one. I think it's the landing on his left ankle, not exactly the contact. It's certainly the landing. Almost just twists it a little bit, and then has Jesus landing on him as well. And then for Damsgaard again, I think it's a bit more of a, I don't know, it's more the way he lands than anything. So I think they're going to try and keep Mikael Damsgaard on. Christopher Adja just simply cannot continue. And they are just getting ready, Dango Ouattara as well, just in case Damsgaard needs to come off. So it's a double blow for Brentford. We've already got a few players out. We've got Jordan Henderson returning today, but they've still got Josh De Silva out with knee ligament issues. They've got Carvalho and Milambo out. They're both out with ACL injuries. So it is going to be a double change. How unfortunate is that for Brentford? They are already trailing. Don't get me wrong, last 10 minutes they've grown back into the game and are showing why they are where they are in the league, and they could easily get themselves an equaliser, but Mikael Damsgaard's the most creative outlet that they've got, and Christopher Adja is 6'6". You missed that little bit of height for set pieces, as Sepp van den Berg does come on, and he's not exactly small himself. He is 6'4", so they're not losing too much height, but he is a quality centre-back. Sepp van den Berg just lost his place in the team to Adja after he missed a game himself in the season. The Dutch centre-half, his last minutes in the Premier League was their away win against Wolves on the 20th of December. So back underway. Kevin Schade on the left wing position. He's been a little bit quiet since the opening few minutes. It's Rico Henry at left back, who's forward in the final third, goes back into Schade. Restarting again just in front of the halfway line with Collins. Across to Van den Berg, brought in the last summer, from Liverpool for £25 million. Jensen. Looks like he's going to be playing a bit more of a central midfield role now, with Ouattara staying wide. Cross from Henry, deflects to Hudson-Odoi, shielding the ball away from the number 3. Trying to find a pass, he's having to do it on his own here, and clears it left-footed. Hudson-Odoi straight onto the chest of Yarmulke. Just a bit of a short pass to Coyote, but he keeps it away from Dominguez for now. Eventually loses out to the Argentinian. And it's now Forest to break. Sangare, surrounded by red and white shirts immediately, but he's been fouled by Jensen. That'll be a free kick. Doesn't agree with the decision there, Matthias Jensen, who helps Ibrahim Sangare back to his feet. Just a bit aggressive in the tackle there, Matthias Jensen. Contract does expire at the end of this season. Been at the club since July 2019. Signed from Celta Vigo for £3.5 million. Absolute bargain. Been a great servant to the club. Matthias Jensen, who's making his 258th appearance for the club. Never actually been sent off in his senior club career. It's with Milenkovic on the halfway line. He's got Anderson kind of wide on the right back position. He goes forward and direct to Jesus instead. He tries to get the better of Collins once more. Can't this time around. And it's now Schade, who drifted a little bit more inside and gets the ball forward to Jensen, who's got the run of Ouattara through the middle. He finds him. Perfectly timed run, and the finish is right at the goalkeeper. Still alive for Ouattara. Lays it off for Yarnell. Shoots off the backside of Sangare. And then forward by Dominguez to Jesus, who will beat Vandenberg to it. Lays it off behind him into Williams. Now into the middle to Anderson. Back to Sells. Big save from the Belgian to stop Dango Ouattara scoring his first goal back since the Africa Cup of Nations, when it was Burkina Faso who were knocked out by the Ivory Coast in the last 16. Brilliantly timed and weighted ball by Matthias Jensen. Has to finish better than that though. Ouattara off the bench a couple of minutes ago scored a hat-trick against Nottingham Forest last season for Bournemouth in a 5-0 win back on the 25th of January. That time he fails to beat Matt Sells, the goalkeeper of the season in the Premier League last campaign, made the PFA Team of the Year. Yarnelt on the halfway line, lifting it and curling it down the left. Cut off by Aina, but straight to Jensen, who's at the heartbeat of everything that Brentford are doing at the moment. Yarnelt going back to the halfway line to Collins. I feel like it's just a matter of time until Brentford get their equaliser. Vandenberg, another player off the bench to replace the injured Adja. Coyote in the final third crosses, glanced off the head of Williams and of Sangare. Volleyed by Hudson-Odoi as far as Yarnelt, who loses out to Gibbs-White. And is now in the right back position with Ola Aina wanting an option. Kicking it off Jensen. Fortunately for Aina, drops straight back to him. And he can clear once more again down the right-hand side. Straight out of play. Throw in for Brentford, who want to try and take it as quickly as possible. Yarnelt lifting it into the box to Schade. Now towards Igor Thiago. Last touch off the Brazilian, and that'll be a goal kick for Nottingham Forest. Not really been given too much service in the first half. Igor Thiago, he's had just the one opportunity, and that was in the 90th second of the game. A ball whipped across the 6-yard box. He did get contact to it, but sent it wide of the far post. That would have been an assist for Kevin Schade. Keith Andrews just in discussion with his assistant, Martin Drury. Vandenberg wins the header on Jesus. Second header won by Williams. Third header won by Vandenberg, who nods it down to Coyote. Forward to Ouattara. It's now Yarmaluk to Ouattara once more. Trying to find the runner Coyote. It deflects, but it will reach the Italian fullback. He's going to drive inside and play it into Jensen. Trying to find Coyote on the edge of the box. Cut out by Williams, who keeps it for now. Plays it down the left channel for Jesus, who gets there ahead of Collins, but the touch goes out of play. Throwing in a right back position for Brentford. This play's going to stop now. It's Nottingham Forest with a man down, and that's Murillo holding his left hip. Sao Paulo born centre-back. Murillo coming up towards a century of appearances for Nottingham Forest. This is appearance number 98 for him. Got the one league goal so far this season, Murillo. That was in the win away at Anfield back in the 22nd of November. It's his 8th start in a row as well in the Premier League. So we have got 2 minutes until the half-time whistle. Maybe blown. We'll probably get a good 3 or 4 minutes of added on time due to the previous injuries from Brentford's Damsgaard and Adja. Just the 2 changes for Nottingham Forest, though, between the lineup they put out today and the lineup they put out in the reverse fixture against Brentford. The 2 changes are Ndoye is on the bench today and Dominguez is starting, and it was Wood who started up front, but today it's Igor Jesus as Wood is still out with an injury. So back underway, Murillo's on his feet. It's Schade overrunning it slightly, but Seth Vandenberg can keep it alive for Brentford just in front of the centre circle. Eventually fouled by Jesus, the Brazilian, who had a couple of bites and kicks at the ankles of Sepp Vandenberg as Brentford get it back rolling quickly. Jensen, about 25 yards out, playing it towards the right to Coyote. Difficult ball to control. It's cleared by Murillo, who was returning to the pitch. Ouattara. Back into Vandenberg and across into the centre circle now with Collins. No one pressing him in a Nottingham Forest shirt. Henry. On this near side for Brentford, laying it off to Schade. Back into Matthias Jensen. Once again in the centre circles, Collins. 10-yard pass to his right to Vandenberg. Ouattara. Got a couple of options around him. Goes back into the captain, Collins. Spreads it to the left to Yarnell. Just try to see this scoreline through to half-time. Forest and Igor Jesus has pickpocketed Jensen. Now Gibbs-White back into Aina. Lifting it down the right channel for Jesus. Headed inside by Collins. Played back by Yarmulke to Vandenberg. Well won back that by Brentford. As we've hit the 45th minute. Not sure how much added on time has been added yet. 7 minutes. Wow. 7 added on here at the G-Tech Community Stadium. Ouattara going on the outside of Williams towards the byline. Cross goes in. Deflected. Corner for Brentford, who have only lost once here all season. They want to try and keep that record just the same. Winning 7 of their 11 here at home in the Premier League. They do have Macclesfield away coming up. Brentford in the FA Cup after their home game against Arsenal on the 12th of February. It's going to be another in-swinger as they're going to try and put some pressure on the Nottingham Forest goalkeeper of Matt Sells. In it goes. It's a deep one towards Captain Collins, who heads it across and then headed away by Gibbs-White. Kicked on by Hudson-Odoi. It'll be out for a Brentford throw-in. Easily won the header there, Nathan Collins. Just couldn't quite find a teammate with a header back across. Down the line for Yarmulke. Cross. Towards goal. And it had to be tipped over by Sells. Looks like he almost collided with the crossbar. Took a nick off Anderson and almost looped all the way in. Much needed awareness from Sells to get across and just tip that over. Could have gone anywhere. And he was equal to it. The former Strasbourg goalkeeper. In swinger again, near post. Free header for Igor Jesus. Doing his defensive duties well as Nottingham Forest are looking to try and see this lead through into half-time. Henry in the centre circle. Keeping it away from Dominguez. Feeding it out wide to Collins. Back into Henry. Collins once more facing his own goal and having to go all the way back to Kelleher. And he'll reach it in a full green kit this afternoon. Forward it goes into Yarmulke, who's allowed to turn and clip the ball in behind towards Schade. Can he get it under control? He's trying to get there. He's shoved in the back from Murillo. Nothing given. Goal kick. The result in the end. Strong defending from Murillo. Did sign a new 4-year contract with the club this time last year. We'll play 2.5 of the 7 added on. Nottingham Forest still lead through an Igor Jesus goal, which was brilliantly taken after a swift counter-attack from the away team. Big kick forward from Sells. Glanced on by Jesus. Header won by Vandenberg to Ouattara. Wants to try and face forward if he can. Tackled by Williams. Dominguez kicks it off Ouattara. And that'll be a throw in midway inside the Brentford half for Nottingham Forest, who were just the 1 point off the Champions League spots last season. Newcastle in 5th, finished on 66 points, compared to Nottingham Forest 65. Finished 9 clear of Brentford, who finished 10th last campaign on 56 points. Well clear of the relegation zone, 31 ahead of Leicester, who took up that final spot in the bottom 3. That's Brentford. Attack down the right-hand side here with Ouattara. Yarmulke making a running behind. Ouattara crosses it in himself. I think it may have took a slight nick. And an easy catch in the end for Matt Sells, who has made 12 appearances for Belgium. Kind of come through at an awkward time as a Belgium goalkeeper, with Thibaut Courtois in the ranks. He's just featured in one of the last 6 Belgium games, Matt Sells, and that was in a 1-1 draw away against Kazakhstan in the last international break. Igor Thiago lifting it back into his centre-back pairing of Vandenberg, who then goes across to Collins. Henry into Thiago, goes down, referee says no, the heavy touch drops to Hudson-Odoi. He's going to try and go around the outside of Rico Henry. It's a good battle between the two. And it's Brentford's come out on top with Henry being helped by Yarmulke. And we've got about just over 2 minutes left of additional time. Brentford really knocking on the Nottingham Forest door. Coyote keeping himself away from Gibbs-White and Dominguez. Ouattara on the far side. Looking to try and play a ball inside. Wanting to switch it, and he does do just that to Henry. Now Schade. Henry overlapping. Schade giving time to cross it in. It's a dangerous ball. It's punched away by Sells. And Dominguez helps it on. And that'll be a throw-in for Brentford. It's possibly in range for a Michael Coyote long throw-in. And it will be a direct throw-in into the box. Collins is up there, the captain for the Bees. Throwing goes in. Williams with the header. Only as far as Henry, about 30 yards from goal. Wanting to go forward, but has to go back to Kelleher, who's just outside the centre circle. Slips as he directs the ball out towards the left-hand side. Header won by Anderson. Collins tries to win it back, but can't. Anderson on the near side. Playing it inside the pitch. But it's cut out by Yarnelt. And they've got just less than a minute to try their best to get an equaliser before the break. Yarnelt loses out in the midfield to Anderson. Then won back by Yarmulke. Caught as he was challenged by Gibbs-White. Free kick just in front of the halfway line for the home team, who might look to try and just launch this into the box as they are running out of time. Taken quickly and out to the left to Rico Henry. Forward from left back. Cross goes in. Comes off the arm of Aina, but it was in a natural position. It was tucked in. Does bounce out for a throw-in. Again, I think they've got one last chance for a long throw before the half-time whistle is blown. In it goes to the near post. Headed on towards goal and just wide by the substitute Vandenberg. Not far away at all. Still looking for his first ever Brentford goal. Won the header on Jesus, and that is not far away at all. Skims the side netting as it passes. And just wide. And the half-time whistle is blown. At the GTEC Community Stadium, it was a bright start from Brentford, but they were put behind by Igor Jesus. It was a brilliant counter-attack from Nottingham Forest, and Ola Aina was at the heartbeat of it. Went from near the corner flag in his own half, right up into the 18-yard box in the opposition half. Worked across and eventually it deflected up off Rico Henry, chested by Igor Jesus, and then a right-footed volley across goal. Beat Kelleher for pace, and it gave the away side the lead. But since then, it's been backs to the wall stuff. Brentford have grew into the game. They have lost 2 of their starting players to injury. Christopher Adja and Mikkel Damsgaard have had to come off, but their replacements of Sepp Vandenberg and Dango Ouattara have probably come the closest to scoring for Brentford. Ouattara was played through by Jensen. His shot was saved by Sells, and then right before the half-time whistle there, Sepp Vandenberg heading a long throw in towards goal, which just took a nick off the side netting as the header went wide of the post. It's been Brentford dominating the majority of the game, but Forest on the counter-attack and in transition have looked like they can score themselves. They are leading at the moment. It's Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 1 at half-time. I'm going to quickly go for a break. I'll be back in around 15 minutes for the second half, but as it stands at the moment, it is Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 1. Oh, we're back for the second half as Brentford currently trail 1-0 against Sean Dyche's Nottingham Forest. These 3 points would put the Reds 5 points clear of the relegation zone, which is needed after the West Ham win yesterday lunchtime to Sunderland in their 3-1 victory. But it definitely will not be an easy 45 minutes coming up for Nottingham Forest, because Brentford were really starting to get into their groove, more so towards the end of the first half. They'll be looking to try and take that momentum into the second half if possible. Already had to make 2 changes though, Brentford. That was due to injuries picked up by Christopher Adger and Mikel Damsgaard. So Sepp van den Berg has come on, and so has Dango Ouattara. Nottingham Forest will want more of the same in terms of the result going into the second half. Do have plenty of bodies and attacking options on the bench if needed, likes of James McAtee, Amari Hutchinson. And if Hutchinson comes on, that will be his 50th Premier League appearance of his career, 31 for Ipswich. It'd be his 18th for Forest, and 1 that he picked up whilst at Chelsea. Can't see them being any changes at half-time, more so because Brentford have got to judge when they make their changes due to already having to use 2. And for Nottingham Forest, I don't think there's any reason to make change. I don't think anyone's played bad at all. Don't get me wrong, they were under a lot of pressure towards the end of that first half, but when they were on the ball and they were able to try and move forward, they did look like they could move it quickly through transition. As in the Scottish Premiership, big game, Hearts and Celtic, and it is Celtic who take a 1-goal lead. We are commentating on Celtic on Thursday night. If you want to subscribe with notifications on so you know when I go live, it's for their Europa League game against Utrecht at home, and it is Benjamin Negron with the goal to give them the lead in that game. That would put them 3 points behind Hearts, and all 3 teams on the same games played. So Hearts will be on 50 points with 23 played. Celtic could be on 47, and Rangers currently on 45 points, but they are also playing against Dundee. They've just kicked off. So certainly hotting up the Scottish Premiership title race. And it's Celtic who are in the lead as it stands. And it's 2-0 to Chelsea at Selhurst Park. It is calamitous stuff for Oliver Glasner. It's João Pedro who's now scored in back-to-back games because he scored the opener against Brentford last weekend at Stamford Bridge. Looks like it's going very well so far for Liam Rosenior. So Brentford are already back out. It's Nottingham Forest who have only just arrived back out for the second 45 minutes. Brentford are 7 unbeaten at home, 5 wins and 2 draws in that run, and they've scored at least 3 goals in 5 of those 7 games unbeaten. The 2 games where they haven't scored 3 or more was a 0-0 draw to Spurs and then the 1-1 draw just before Christmas against Leeds. So the scoreline at the moment is looking very impressive for Nottingham Forest, because teams do not come here and win very often. And you could say the same about their run last season. They won 9 home games, losing just 6. And it'll be Nottingham Forest to kick us off, kicking from right to left. It'll be Brentford left to right, waiting for the referee's whistle of Sam Barrett. Whistle's blown, and Anderson plays it back to Sells. Thumps it forward for Nottingham Forest towards the edge of the 18-yard box, where it's Van den Berg to head it down to Ouattara. Kicks forward, intercepted by Sangare. Now Nico Williams taking on one Brentford player, then finding Igor Jesus, who's just about tackled by Van den Berg. He almost got away from the Dutchman, but he couldn't. That's now Ouattara through the middle, looking for Yarmulke, sorry. Overhit the touch and eventually it's gone out for a Brentford throw-in. Just before the halfway line with Michael Coyote. Spent 4 years at Juventus and also 4 years at Fiorentina. We're obviously struggling massively this season in the relegation zone in Serie A. Anderson on the Forest left. Could not get away from the sea of Brentford bodies that were surrounding him. Van den Berg, the number 4 for Brentford, his brother Rav, currently playing his football in Germany with Cologne. This is his 49th appearance in the Premier League this afternoon. Schade on the left flank, midway inside the Forest half. He's got Hudson-Odoi and Aina stopping him from going forward, and it's Aina the one to nick the ball away from him. It's now with Murillo in the 18-yard area. Back to Sells, cleared forward first time. Headed backwards by Van den Berg, but into the direction of his teammate Coyote. So danger averted for now for Brentford. Collins taking it beyond the halfway line down the Brentford left, forward to Schade, then inside to Jensen. Touch is slightly heavy, but it fortunately breaks for him. Still with Jensen, poking it through for Igor Thiago. Tries to touch into Schade, cleared away straight off the head of Yarmulke. And then back away, as far as Yarmulke, who nods it down to Coyote. Back into Yarmulke, another header forward into Jensen, who's allowed to bring it down 20 yards from goal. Goes behind him to Henry, then back forward to Jensen, who looks to try and cross it right-footed maybe. No, goes to Yarmulke instead, who's drifting out towards this left-hand side. Into Jensen again. Tackled quickly by Anderson, pulled down, and that's a free kick for Nottingham Forest. Well won by Elliot Anderson, which has now made well over 100 Premier League appearances. It's his 60th for Nottingham Forest. Born in Whitley Bay, Elliot Anderson, Sea Sound Tide in North Tyneside. It's a rapid rise for him in the last few years to become one of England's starting number 6s in Thomas Tuchel's side. Slightly hobbling still, Elliot Anderson, but I'm sure he'll be okay to continue. It's a big kick out to the left to Williams. Couldn't quite play it into Gibbs-White. Coyote forward, and there's loads of room in the middle of the park for Yarmulke. He's got Schade making an inside run. He's going to try and find him. Schade battling with the ball, but it's Milenkovic to kick it behind for a corner. It was originally aimed at Schade, but it was also close to Thiago, so it was Thiago and Schade battling with Aina and Milenkovic, and in the end it was the Serbian to take control and get rid of the ball. Collins looking like the main target. It's going to be an in-swinger from Jensen. It's a high one to the back post. Goes beyond Collins towards Ouattara, who kicks it across. Kick towards goal as well, and behind it goes for a goal kick. A little bit of an acrobatic attempt there by Yarmulke. Got a contract here until 2031, the Ukrainian, signed in May of last year, and made his Ukraine international debut in the March of 2025. It's going to be a big kick forward by Mats Sells, who's actually been on the bench twice in fixtures against Brentford. That was during his time at Newcastle when they won the Championship in the 2016-17 season. It was Carl Darlow who was getting the nod ahead of Sells that season. Well won back by Yarmulke and Hudson-Odoi. Henry all the way back to Kelleher in the 18-yard box. Not really had much to do, the Irish goalkeeper. Tries to go forward centrally and it's cut out by Anderson. Dominguez, tackled by Igor Thiago, who's working back to win the ball for his team. Now in the middle to Yarmulke. Going to his left to Collins. Sepp van den Berg on the ball, the former Dutch under-21 international. Spent 5 years as well at Liverpool, making 4 first-team appearances. During that time, he did have 3 loan spells at Preston, Schalke and Mainz. Jensen, high ball forward down the Brentford left, header away by Milenkovic, and that's going to be a throw-in for Brentford. Jensen wants to take it quickly, he does just that to Henry. Back into Jensen on the far side. Trying to reverse a ball into Yarnell, deflects off Hudson-Odoi. Throw in once more. Jensen throwing it all the way back to the halfway line, this time to Nathan Collins, who was the only outfield player to play every minute in the Premier League last season. 6 minutes into the second half. It's been all Brentford so far as they still search for the equalising goal. Throwing on the right-hand side for Brentford as Coyote was tackled by Dominguez, and it'll give the Italian the chance to throw another long ball into the box. He's gone short to Yarnell, who then delivers the ball into the box for Schade. Beyond him, drops for Ouattara, wanting to try and shoot. Murillo's in his way. He's forced away from goal, and Murillo gets around him and takes the ball off him. Good defending from the Brazilian. As Forest want to try and break, lays it back off to Anderson, who thumps it forward down the middle of the pitch towards Gibbs-White. Touchdown by Coyote, and then Vandenberg helps out by kicking it all the way to the goalkeeper of Queeveen Kelleher. He's got some big games coming up. The Cork-born goalie. They've got the Czech Republic in their World Cup qualifier coming up in March in the semi-final. Long kick forward from Brentford. Goes straight through for Sells, who will roll it down and kick it long off the ground himself. Up towards Jesus. Header won by Vandenberg. Controlled by Yarmouk away from Anderson. Good play from the Ukrainian. Really come on this season. Yeo Yarmouk. He made 15 starts last season in the Premier League. This is now his 21st in this campaign. 7th in a row. Schade on the halfway line on the far side. Finding Jensen. Back out to Schade. Jensen once more. Almost at the heartbeat of everything that Brentford do in this game. Matthias Jensen. Schade. 1-on-1 with Aina. Switching out to the right to Coyote, who's forward from right back. Towards the byline. Williams going across. He plays it back to Yarmouk, who crosses. It's an inviting cross. Kneed away by Sangare. As far as Henry, who's now having to battle with Hudson-Odoi. And Hudson-Odoi, the one is to bring it away. Still driving with the ball. And stopped in his tracks as Yarnell and Henry were not giving up that race. And Brentford just keep coming at Nottingham Forest. Rarely getting a break at the moment, Sean Dyche's team. They are 6 unbeaten against Nottingham Forest at the moment, Brentford. That's a run from December 2020 to January 2024. That was a run of 6 unbeaten they got. Obviously, it was a win each last season. Both winning 2-0 at each other's ground. Collins, 9 minutes into the second half. It's still 1-0 to Nottingham Forest. No huge chances as of yet. As Collins finds space out wide right to Ouattara. The pass is slightly overhit, but he will keep it in. And then tackled by Williams. That'll be, I think, a throw-in. Right next to the corner flag. Didn't quite see where the ball rolled out there. But whichever it is, it's getting directly put into the area because we know how long that Michael Coyote throw is. And it will be a throw-in. And in it goes. Long throw. In there. Glanced on by Milenkovic. Kicked up in the air by Hudson-Odoi. Still in the area. It's Yarnell to head it back out wide to Coyote, who's 1-on-1 with Williams. Back into Yarnell, who crosses with the right foot, swinging away from goal. It drops in the area, and it's Milenkovic to hoof the ball away toward the halfway line, where it's headed back forward by Collins. Controlled by Jensen, back to Collins, and it's well kept by Brentford, who you feel like are going to score at any given moment. It was only the 6th goal they've conceded at home in the Premier League. That goal from Igor Jesus in the first half. They are really solid at the GTEC Community Stadium, and they want to try and equalise. Jensen in the area, plays to his left to Ouattara, gets it in the box once more. Sangare this time who deals with it. It's not a convincing clearance though. Rico Henry on the edge of the box, crosses towards Thiago. It's a miss kick, and it drops to Dominguez who clears, and it will roll out for a throw-in for the home side who take it quickly. Coyote gets around Dominguez and puts a ball in. It's a great cross. It's a good header won by Aina. Volleyed on by Sangare on the edge of the area. Jesus to Sangare. Williams lifting it out to the left towards Dominguez. Gets the header on, but doesn't find anyone in a Forest shirt. And just in front of the centre circle, it's Matthias Jensen. Curling ball in behind for Ouattara, who heads it across. Can't find Thiago. Sangare again cannot get it away. Ouattara outside of the boot, cross goes in. Kicked up into the air by Murillo. Dominguez goes over. Referee says no. It's now Jesus. Dominguez, who's kicked in the head by, I thought it was his own teammate. I think it might have actually been Yarmouk because they're not complaining. Looks like there's a penalty as well for Chelsea, as it looks like they're going to be going 3-0 up against Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park. They've got an important game coming up in the Europa League, Nottingham Forest. Their last one of the league phase, which is at home on Thursday to Ferencváros, Robbie Keane's side. They are now 16th in that league table, 3 points off 8th, which is a guaranteed spot into the last 16. They are guaranteed playoffs as a minimum. They can't go out of the top 24. Milenkovic kicking it out wide left. Headed backwards by Coyote, and that'll be a throw-in for Nottingham Forest in the final third on this near side. 32 minutes left to play of the 90. We're still 1-0 to Nottingham Forest. Goal from Igor Jesus in the 12th minute. It was his second in the Premier League this season. His only other one was against Wolves away on the 3rd of December. Throw-in with Nico Williams. Throws it into Anderson. Returns it to Williams. Kicks it off Ouattara, then back off Williams, and that'll be a goal kick for Brentford. It has been all Brentford so far. They've clocked up at 80% of the possession in this second half. Just not really creating clear-cut chances, if we're going to be completely honest. Collins to Henry at left back. Back into Collins once more. Since they've come into the Premier League, should I say, Brentford have averaged a position of 12th. It's their 5th successive camp season in the league. Ashada heads it on for Jensen towards Thiago. Tries to touch it back towards Jensen, and he gets there. And he does that. And then Jensen crosses, headed away by Williams. All as far as Ashada. Misplaced pass, intercepted by Aina, who needs to try and get it forward. Again, can't be cleared very well until the interception from Anderson, who sends it for a throw-in. As the ball went forward, Shada's headed it on, and he was caught by the foot of Aina. And in the end, Igor, Thiago and Matthias Jensen couldn't quite make anything of the opportunity. Half an hour to go. It's still 1-0 to Nottingham Forest, who are looking for their 4th away win of the season in their 12th game on their travels in the league. Sepp van den Berg, just before the halfway line. Plays it out to the right to Coyote. They need to be stubborn defensively, Nottingham Forest, if they want anything from this game. Collins out to the left to Henry. He's overhit it and played it behind him. Rico Henry not happy. And that'll be a throw-in for Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest are going to make their first change of the game shortly. And I say shortly. I think they're going to make it right now. A more orthodox winger will be coming on, so Nicolas Dominguez comes off after making his 6th start in a row in the league, and he'll be replaced by Amari Hutchinson, who's making his 50th appearance in his Premier League career. Scored 4 goals in the division, one of them this season, and it's his only goal so far for Nottingham Forest, and that was in their home defeat to Manchester City on the 27th of December. He's not been able to play in their Europa League games, Amari Hutchinson, due to not being added to the squad at the start of the season. He had started 8 in a row, Amari Hutchinson, until the last 2 league games where he came off the bench against Arsenal and now against Brentford. As it's Schade heading it forward to Jensen, who keeps himself ahead of Aina and then lays it off for Schade, who's in the area, goes down, no foul. Good defending from Murillo. Very strong, good recovery. And it'll be a goal kick for Nottingham Forest. Yeah, got across well. Was making sure Kevin Schade was not getting any shots off goal. As it does look like Nottingham Forest are going to take their goal kick and kick it as long as they possibly can. And in the Chelsea game, it has gone to 3-0. Enzo Fernandez from the penalty spot. Aerial duel won by Sangare. Then Murillo takes over. Hutchinson's first involvement is to lose the ball. And then Henry out wide towards Schade. Tackled by Aina. Can't keep the ball in play. Throwing on the halfway line for Brentford. Takes it quickly to Yarnelt. Flicks it back into Henry. And once again, it'll be Brentford to attack. Brought in a lot of money in the summer. Brentford selling the likes of Imbermo and Wisser and Norgard and Flecken as well, all bringing in, well up to £150 million worth in sales, as Igor Thiago's flicking behind, can't quite reach Ouattara. Williams at left back towards the halfway line, tripped and foul given. Free kick for Forest, well won there by Nico Williams, who's played every minute so far this season in the league for Nottingham Forest. He signed a new 4-year contract in July of last year, after joining from Liverpool in 2022 for £17 million. Williams, a direct ball forward in behind towards Hutchinson, bounces through to Kelleher, who will roll it out to the left side here to Schade. Forward to Jensen on the halfway line, playing it back into Henry. And then across to Collins. Vandenberg. Forward into the space for Coyote. Vandenberg. Collins into the centre circle now with Jensen, or just outside it. Sprays it to the left to Henry. Back into Jensen on the halfway line. Collins to Vandenberg. Yarmulke, everyone behind the ball for Nottingham Forest. They are defending with a lot of unity, making it difficult for Brentford to play through them. Vandenberg, not knowing where to play it first. It's Igor Thiago who flicks it into Ouattara. It works this time. Just forced out of the area by Williams. It's now Coyote to cross it in. It's a dangerous ball in. Headed away by Aina. Helped on off the head of Williams. All as far as Vitaly Yarnelt. Coyote clipping it in towards Ouattara, who helps it into the box. It's volleyed up into the air by Aina. There to be one for Schade. Sells flaps at it. It's eventually Sangare to bring it away with a header. But then touched to the halfway line by Yarmulke. And it's Brentford with 25 to play, who were consistently attacking, but not creating clear-cut chances. Henry this time with a cross that goes in, dealt with by Anderson, drilling it forward to Gibbs-White. Loses out to Yarmulke, who's booked for the foul. Yellow card out by Sam Barrett. just caught Gibbs White as the ball moved away from Yeho Yarmouk. Red card in the Chelsea-Palace game as well. Palace-Chelsea game. Adam Wharton, 2 yellow cards. Just goes from bad to worse for Crystal Palace. As Aston Villa still lead by a goal to nil away at Newcastle. We're going to get a third Brentford change on his 100th appearance in the Premier League. Rico Henry, the former England under-20 international, will come off for Aaron Hickey. And he's coming on for his 50th Premier League appearance. A lot of landmarks being hit this afternoon. Also played 47 games in Serie A. Aaron Hickey, during his time with Bologna. Back underway. Aina. His pass deflects off Sharda. Throw-in taken quickly. Thrown up towards Gibbs White. Loses out to Collins. Always finds Anderson on the halfway line. Jesus loses out. It's now Ouattara in the centre circle. Bringing it forward. Thiago peels out to the right side. Back heels it into Ouattara in the middle. Trying to get away from the Forest bodies but can't. Ball's loose. Breaks for Yarmouk. Sharda for Jensen, who again shoved over to the ground. Fair defending from Milenkovic. And it's another goal kick for Forest. They've got a quarter of the game to go. And they are still leading by a goal to nil. Nottingham Forest not having a lot of the ball, but Brentford aren't exactly having a lot of shots. They've both had 6 shots, both had 1 on target. I feel like there's been a lot of nothing in this game, if that makes sense. As we're going to get a Nottingham Forest change. He did miss the game in midweek, Igor Thiago, and he's been able to play 68 minutes, and he is the match winner at the moment. A superb chest and volley goal in the 12th minute, and he'll be replaced by Taiwo Awoniyi, who was once Nottingham Forest's record signing, the Nigerian, when he was signed for £17.5 million from Union Berlin in July 2022. Just his ninth appearance now in all competitions. It's Hudson-Odoi on the left wing, goes back into Nico Williams, about 22 yards from goal, tries to play a ball through for Awoniyi. Overhit. Goal kick for Brentford as Kelleher wants to try and take it as quickly as possible. With the left centre-back, Nathan Collins. His record against Forest in his career is 2 wins, 2 draws and 2 defeats for the 24-year-old. Janelt to the right centre-half of Vandenberg. Around the corner, looking for Thiago. Has he timed his run? No, he's not. Assistant referee on this near side of his flag up quickly. Just not been his day so far for Igor Thiago. Igor Thiago came to Europe in February 2022 to join Ludogorets. And since then he has moved on and played for the likes of Club Bruges, where Brentford signed him from. Scored 29 in 55 appearances for the Belgian club. They bought him for 6.9 million, then shipped him on the season after for 30. So good business there by Club Bruges. The ball's gone up towards Awoniyi. Commits the foul on Vandenberg. Maybe the arm being used a bit too much by the Nigerian. 20 to play. Still Brentford 0, Forest 1. Midway inside his own half, it's Nathan Collins. No one pressuring him at the moment. Janelt out wide to Hickey. Janelt once more across to Collins. Janelt crosses the halfway line. Hickey again. Forward to Sharda, breaking the lines and away from Sangare. Running straight into Milenkovic. And it's now Sangare in a right back position with the ball. Brought down by Sharda. Referee gives the foul. Just looks like they're completely out of ideas, which slightly coincides with the fact that Mikkel Damsgaard did have to be brought off during the first half with what looked like an injury. Because he's usually their creative spark in this Brentford team. Big kick from Sells, headed backwards by Awani to Sangare. Hutchinson towards Gibbs-White, loses out to Vandenberg, who plays it back towards his own goalkeeper of Kelleher. He just has to leave his 18-yard box to kick this ball forward up towards Thiago, who wins the header. To Yarnell, tries to head it to his left to Hickey, slightly short. Hutchinson tackles, throwing on the halfway line for Brentford on the far side. Hickey at left back. With Collins, 18 minutes plus added on time left in this game. Coyote. All in the Brentford half at the moment. They can't get out of there. It's been solid defending from Forest, but this is kind of what you expect from a Sean Dyche team. To be resolute and be well disciplined in their defensive work. Hickey, that's a good touch because that was blasted into him there by Yarnell. Finds the pass inside to Yarmuluk. Lifting it out wide, that's poor. He's better than that. Yeho Yarmuluk didn't get the ball towards any player in a red and white shirt. They're not used to this at home this season, the Brentford City supporters. Just the one defeat so far, and that was against Pep Guardiola's Manchester City. And they were 6 unbeaten in the Premier League before Chelsea from December the 14th to the 7th of January with an aggregate scoreline of 14-6. It's Hickey. Brought to the ground by Sangare. Be a free kick for Brentford on the left-hand side, about 45 yards away from goal. So it's going to have to be a ball into the box if they want to go direct here, the Bees. And it's directly put into the box. It's a volley away by Williams. Goes for his Coyote. Plays it to his left to Yarnell, the original taker of the free kick. He's going to put it back in towards the 18-yard area, towards Vandenberg. Glanced behind him, and it'll be kept alive by Ouattara. Just about keeping it in on the near side. Hickey. Just in front of the centre circle, playing it to his left to Yarnell. Jensen's furthest left and he plays it to him. Everything to his right. Plays it to the edge of the box to Yarmuluk. Gets away from Anderson. Back out wide to Jensen, who crosses right-footed. Headed on by Sharda. Drops towards Collins, cleared by Murillo. Awani holding it up really well. Playing it to his left to Hudson-Odoi. Midway inside his own half. Into the middle to Sangare. It's now with the left back Williams. Left-footed, ball down the line, poor. Header won by Coyote, who gets the ball back from Yarmuluk. Looks to try and go out wide right, works it to Ouattara. Tackled, but Yarmuluk continues the run, battling hard with Anderson towards the corner flag. He's been tripped, and that's going to be a free kick. Slightly accidental, bit of a crossing of feet, which forced Yarmulke to go down. As Forest want to try and make another change. Want to try and bring on Ryan Yates if possible. Pretty much a corner. It's just in front of the corner flag. Yarnell with an in-swinger to the far post. Glanced by Gibbs-White. Thiago with the shot. And wide it goes to the near post. One of the first chances we've seen for a while in this game. Nottingham Forest have just made it so difficult for Brentford to do anything in this game. Yeah, missed the side netting as well. Not accurate enough from Igor Thiago. Looking for his 17th Premier League goal of the season. Sells with another big kick. Just beyond the halfway line. But it's a header won by Collins. Sharda helps it on to Thiago. Holds it up well. Plays it into the centre circle to Yarnell. Tackle from behind by Awani. Who now has it and plays it to the left to Hudson-Odoi. Tries to go back inside to Awani. Well intercepted by Coyote, who will drive into the middle of the pitch. He has got options left and right. Tries to slip it through for Sharda. Poor ball. Olerainer intercepts. It's now Sangare. Out wide to the right flank to Hutchinson. Takes it beyond the halfway line. He's got Gibbs White to his right. Or Awani through the middle. Almost found him. Another interception, this time from Collins. It's 13 minutes to go. Still Brentford 0, Forest 1. Sharda. Tripped from behind by Sangare. Back to the halfway line to Yarnelt. For all the ball they've had, Brentford really have not made anything of it at all. Coyote at right back. Tries to go forward to Ouattara, but he made a run in behind. So it's been picked up cheaply by Williams. Sangare. Trying to go forwards. Goes to his side to Anderson. Murillo. Lifted down the left-hand side. No one there at all. Just seems very disjointed now. Nottingham Forest when trying to play it forward. Aaron Hickey on the left-hand side. On the halfway line. Wanting to go forward but has to go across to Collins. Hickey, the Scotsman. Didn't play any games last season due to a hamstring problem. Was out from November 23 to May 25. He missed 88 games altogether for club and country. Collins. To his left to Hickey. Then forward to Sharda. Trying to go inside for Collins, who'd made a run from centre-back. He's been found. And he keeps the ball away from Sangare. Doesn't kill the attack. Well held on by Collins. Everyone behind the ball for Forest Bar. Taiwo Awani. Sharda. Now one-on-one with Aina towards the byline. Tries to cut inside, but Milenkovic comes across. Kicks it forward, controlled by Gibbs White. Then played down the right channel for Awani. It is a one-on-one with him and Vandenberg. Can he take him on? He can. The angle's tight, but he's in the box. Awani, can he square it? He'll go on his own instead. It is a complete smash and grab for Nottingham Forest, who somehow double their lead. And it looks like Sean Dyche's team are going to be just the second team to win here all season. It has been all Brentford this second half, but they have not been able to break through. This solid set-up at the back for Nottingham Forest. Ball played down the right channel by Gibbs White, but it was all Awani. He had to do the lot, take on Vandenberg. He did have Hudson-Odoi coming in at the far post, but decided to go on his own as he entered the 6-yard area. Played it through the legs of Caoimhín Kelleher. It's not been pretty, but for Forest, 3 points are 3 points at the moment, and they will certainly take them. Using his strength, using his pace and his skill. Coyote went early with a sliding challenge. He got absolutely nowhere near it. And he had to be composed, and he slid it through the legs of Kelleher into the far corner. Proper number 9 play from Taiwo Awani, who scores his first goal since the 11th of February 2025. His last goal was in the FA Cup against Exeter. His last goal was all in the Premier League, was also off the bench, but that was well over a year ago against Wolves away from home on the 6th of January 2025. He's had to wait a while. He's struggled with injury within the last year. But he is on the score sheet, and Forest have doubled their lead. It's Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 2. Brentford have made 2 final changes. Jordan Henderson has come on for Yarmulke, and Keane Lewis Potter has come on for Coyote. So they've got 9 minutes plus added on time, and they've got a bigger mountain to climb now. I wouldn't say Nottingham Forest don't deserve it, because they've limited Brentford to absolutely nothing going forward. Even though they've had nearly all of the ball in the second half, they've not done anything to really show for it. So fair play for Nottingham Forest for getting the lead, sitting back, going defensive and trying to hit them on the break, which they've done just that. Crystal Palace have scored a consolation goal. Chris Richards making it 3-1. And it's still Newcastle 0, Aston Villa 1 in that game. Could be back-to-back away wins in the Premier League, this, for Nottingham Forest, given away by Hutchinson. Ouattara on the halfway line, keeps it away from Anderson and pokes it through for Jordan Henderson on the right wing position. Tries to play it across, but it goes off the foot of Ouattara. Wasn't meant for him, but he was running forward and it was meant to just go either behind him or in front of him for the player across. But he didn't read it and it deflected through for Sells. And it's still Brentford 0, Forest 2. This was the scoreline when these two sides met here last season. Aina and Alanga with the goals. This time it's Jesus and Awani. Clip ball forward towards Thiago. Header won by Murillo. Controlled by Sangare midway side his own half. It's now on the near side to Anderson. Ball comes off Hickey. And that'll be a throw-in for Forest. You'll be delighted with this, Sean Dyche. This will be 7th victory in 9 against Brentford in his managerial career. And this will put Nottingham Forest 5 points above the drop. Keeping the gap 2-5 after West Ham's win yesterday against Sunderland. 3-1. Hickey throwing it into Jensen. And as well for Forest, that was their first shot of the second half. They've only had 22% of the ball. But it doesn't matter. Does not matter at all. Ouattara, edge of the area. On his left foot, brought down by Williams. Free kick. Given by Sam Barrett. Opportunity now for Brentford. This would be 3 league games unbeaten for Forest if they do. Well, they're definitely going to at least draw, you'd think. But they beat West Ham away, then drew to Arsenal last weekend at home. And are looking set to win today. That'd be 7 points from a possible 9, which you cannot take for granted if you're a Nottingham Forest supporter, especially with it being so tight in that relegation scrap. So it's either the left foot of Yarnelt or the right foot of Jensen. It's a 4-man Forest wall with Sells across to the left-hand side of the goal as we look towards the net. It's going to be Jensen to cross it, actually. It's a header towards goal, has to go in. About 6 yards out, Ouattara wins the header and has got to score. Well-weighted cross, just maybe slightly behind him. Probably should have left it for Vandenberg, who was coming in behind. Tries to put it into the top right corner, sends it over. And Keith Andrews is cutting a rather frustrated figure. Sat on the bench at the moment for Brentford. This will be his 11th defeat in the season for Brentford. As Forest are going to bring on another defensive-minded player of Morato. Kept in by Awani on the near side. Finds Anderson. Across to Hutchinson. Works it to Gibbs-White. Aina forward from right back. Plays it into him brilliantly. Cuts back. Ola Aina. And then inside to Hutchinson. Then back out to Aina, who crosses deep towards Williams, who joins in at the far post. Touch isn't great. Keeps the ball away from Ouattara for now. Until Ouattara gets his body across. And kicks it out of play for a throw-in for Nottingham Forest. He couldn't keep it, Nico Williams, but he's done the second best, which is to get his team a throw-in right towards the corner flag. It's 2-0 to Aston Villa as well against Newcastle. Ollie Watkins with the goal. So that puts Aston Villa into third, level on points with Manchester City and 4 off Arsenal, who of course play in that half-4 kick-off coming up against Manchester United, who were off the back of a wonderful derby win last weekend. It's another throw-in for Brentford, won by Morato, the substitute, who has just come on. Two shots on target for Forest, 2 goals. Forest do lose the ball though there. Try to see who's come off there for Morato. Not quite sure at the moment. It's Hudson-Odoi who's come off. So a winger off for a centre-back. And the lineups for the Arsenal-Manchester United game is Raya in goal, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Hincapié is the back 4. 3 midfield of Ødegaard, Zubimendi and Rice. And a front 3 of Saka, Jesus and Trossard. And for Manchester United, it's Lomans in goal, Dalot, Maguire, Martinez, Shaw as a 4. 2 older midfielders of Casemiro, Mainu, Dorgu on the left, Diallo on the right, Fernandes through the middle, and just ahead of him will be Brian in Burmo. Looking forward to watching that game later on as Sangare in the middle of the park finds Hutchinson. Goes around him to the right to Aina. He's got an overlap of Hutchinson, but Aina wants to maybe go on his own. Left for Anderson. Curls it to the right-hand side now to Umari Hutchinson. Cuts onto his left foot. Allowed to cross it in. It's slightly overhit. Caught by Kelleher. Quickly rolls it in front of him now to Aaron Hickey. Drives with the ball beyond the halfway line. The touch is a little bit heavy. Keeps it away from Anderson for now, but the pass is intercepted by Anderson. Brilliant midfield work. And he keeps it away from Hickey. Then down the line for Gibbs-White, just overhit. Deserved maybe more from that. Elliot Anderson with the work rate he put in. 90 seconds of the 90 minutes to go. Still Brentford 0, Forest 2. Next commentary coming up is on Thursday is Celtic host Utrecht in the Europa League final league phase game. And then also another commentary coming next Saturday as Bolton travel to Wimbledon as Morato heads behind for a corner after a cross into the box by Sharda. Was it Sharda? I think it was Lewis Potter. Lewis Potter was the one who swung the ball in. Ouattara delivers the ball in, headed away to the edge of the box by Murillo. Helped on by the right foot of Awani, as far as Jensen. Goes to his left to Jordan Henderson, who's back onto the pitch after missing the last game against Chelsea with an ankle problem. Henderson, Ouattara, Jensen, loses out to Anderson. It's now Gibbs-White playing it forward. Can't be controlled though by Awani this time around. And it's now back with Kelleher. Plays it to the left here to Keane, Lewis Potter. Yarnelt, everyone behind the ball for Nottingham Forest. Back out wide to Lewis Potter. Sangare coming across. He can't stop the cross as the header's won by Milenkovic. Controlled by Aina. Into the middle to Anderson. Gibbs-White in a left wing position. Into the Brentford half he goes. Tries the switch to Hutchinson. Slightly short. Header won by Lewis Potter. And that'll be Nottingham Forest throwing. Wants the free kick for a push, but not given. And there'll just be 3 minutes added on. No surprise, there's not been many real stoppages so far in the game. Forest had 0 wins in their previous 3 games away at Brentford before their win last season. Their previous win before that was 1-0 in the Championship in January 2020. But they're gonna match their result here from last season, and they have limited Brentford to very few clear-cut chances as Hutchinson is scythed down there by Lewis Potter. Free kick for the away side, and it's going to be just their second defeat here at home, their first since Manchester City on the 5th of October. And for Nottingham Forest, it'll be back-to-back away wins now for them in the Premier League. Their next 3 games in all competitions are at home. After their Europa League game on Thursday, they've got Crystal Palace and then Leeds at the City Ground. Elliott down the line for Gibbs-White, taking it towards the corner. Great bit of skill from Gibbs-White to keep the possession for Forest. Then finds Anderson, flick to Hutchinson. Anderson again on the floor, trying to find Awani. Just cleared by Brentford, who want to try and get a consolation goal possibly. Hickey down the right-hand side for Ouattara. Gets away from Williams and almost away from Morato. Put this touch behind by the Brazilian. And that will be a corner kick for Brentford, who are running out of time. 80 seconds to go. Minute left of added on time. It's going to be an in-swinger from Ouattara. In it goes to the 6-yard box, headed on by Schade. And over the bar it goes. Again, taking the header away from Vandenberg. And again, Vandenberg probably would have had maybe better contact to it. But over the bar it went, not quite been Kevin Schade's day today. Who's only ever scored once in this fixture, and that was in the away win they got last season. So the last 3 games, well, 3 of the last 4 results in this fixture have been 2-0 to the away team. It's a league double for Forest this season over Brentford. And just their 3rd ever win against them in the Premier League. Sangare heads forward, headed out wide by Vandenberg to Ouattara. 10 seconds to go. Hickey across to Collins. It's now Jensen. Forward to Lewis Potter. This is probably the last attack for Brentford if they can get the ball into the area quickly enough. Yarnelt just about keeps it in. Collins has it, and the referee's seen enough, and it is a huge 3 points for Nottingham Forest and Sean Dyche's team. They are now 3 unbeaten in the league, 2 away wins on the bounce, both here in the capital. And this time, it's a real defensive display with very potent counter-attacking play. The first goal came in the 12th minute through Igor Jesus. It was a counter-attack from back to front, and it was Ola Aina with the delivery in. It deflected up. Igor Jesus chested it away from him to create an angle to swing his right foot at it. Across goal it went beyond Kelleher. Certainly one of the goals of the weekend. It was brilliantly taken by the young Brazilian striker. But then after they went 1-0 up, the game was one-way traffic. It was all Brentford on the ball, but they could not create many clear-cut opportunities, and the game was killed off by Nottingham Forest with 10 minutes to play of the 90. Off the bench, his first goal in just under a year in all competitions. Taiwo Awani was sent away down the right channel by Gibbs-White. He got away from Vandenberg, entered the box. Coyote tried to slide across, couldn't stop the Nigerian, who played it through the legs of Kelleher. Doubled the Forest lead, and that is a massive 3 points for the Reds, who take away another 3 points from the G-Tech Community Stadium. They are still and remain 5 clear ahead of West Ham in 18th. They are now on the same points as Leeds, who are in 16th. But of course, Leeds have got a game to play as they take on Everton away from home tomorrow. Huge 3 points. Brentford had so much of the possession, but just did not create anything with it. 67% of the ball they had, but was only able to conjure the one shot on target. That says everything for Brentford. Just not clinical enough at all. Enjoyed that. Thank you for the commentary. Thank you very much. It was a difficult game to commentate on, I must admit. There was a lot of nothing in that game. A lot of passing, a lot of movement, but very few clear-cut chances. But that happens. It is what it is. But if you did enjoy, make sure you do like, subscribe, make sure you're back for the commentary on Thursday. Celtic take on Utrecht in the Europa League phase, and also in the league. In the EFL, we are commentating on a League One fixture as Wimbledon host Bolton next Saturday. But here from the G-Tech Community Stadium, Brentford were left frustrated as they fall to their second home defeat of the season, their first since early October, as Sean Dyche does a defensive masterclass to snatch all 3 points. It's a goal in the first half from Igor Jesus, a second from Taiwo Awoniyi, and here in London it finishes Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 2.